Edgin and a barbarian Holga, accused of robbery, now stand before the Absolution Council to deliver their pleas for pardon. Edgin, commencing with his pre-robbery life, recounts his role as a devoted member and peacekeeper within the esteemed Harper faction. He proudly highlights his successful pursuit and capture of the Yen Red Wizard, bringing him to justice. Regrettably, unbeknownst to Edgin, his unwavering loyalty proved to be his downfall when his beloved wife, Zia, fell victim to the Red Wizard's vengeful apprentices during his absence. Nevertheless, he managed to rescue their daughter, Kira, altering the course of his life irrevocably. Following his wife's tragic demise, Edgin found solace in the bottom of a glass, relinquishing his commitment to the Harper's cause and neglecting his responsibilities as a father. It was during one of the days in the bar when Holga, moved by pity for Edgin and his daughter, extended a helping hand. She was also broke and was thrown out of her tribe because of loving someone out of her tribe. As both didn't have innocent work, in order to bear ends meet, Edgin and Holga began the life of robbing together. With the passage of time, both, burdened by their own misfortunes, embarked on a path of thievery to make ends meet. With time, they assembled a team comprising the inexperienced sorcerer Simon Amr, a descendant of the renowned Amr sorcerer lineage, and the cunning con artist Forge, joined by Edgin's daughter, Kira, who is now a grown-up. Remarkably, despite their unlawful endeavors, they upheld a peaceful approach, abstaining from causing harm. However, their tranquil existence was disrupted when a wizard named Sci-fi approached them, promising aid in their planned heist of Corn's Keep, an impenetrable fortress safeguarding priceless relics seized from malevolent wrongdoers, with access granted solely to Harpers. Initially resistant, Edgin's resolve crumbled as Forge enticed him with the Tablet of Reawakening, a device capable of resurrecting dead ones and, in short, his departed wife, Zia. Driven by the desire to reunite with her, Edgin succumbed to the allure and departed for Corn's Keep, leaving Kira alone at home. With Harper Edgin's assistance, the team infiltrates Corn's Keep, where Sci-fi acquires one of the nefarious vaults. However, when Edgin retrieves the Tablet of Reawakening, they fall into the Keep's trap. Sci-fi employs time-stopping magic, freezing the impending attack. Unfortunately, Edgin and Holga become trapped in the time stop, leading Edgin to count on Forger for the tablet as well as for Kira's care in his absence. This unfortunate turn of events lands Edgin and Holga in jail. Edgin confesses his story to the council and requests forgiveness but impulsively escapes with Holga by pushing council judge Jarnathan out of a window. Unbeknownst to them, the council had already accepted their pardon and was ready to release them legally. Fleeing the prison, they rush home but discover Kira and Forger absent. While contemplating how to approach Forger, Edgin comes across a revealing pamphlet announcing the former Lord of Neverwinter's suspicious illness and Forger's rise to power. They head to Neverwinter, where they find Kira in the castle and Forger as the new lord. To their astonishment, Sci-fi is still aligned with Forger as his main advisor. When Edgin requests the Tablet of Reawakening, Forger refuses and poisons Kira's mind against her father, falsely accusing him of abandonment for wealth. It is revealed that Forger and Sci-fi deliberately trapped Edgin and Holga in the time stop to steal the tablet and take Kira from Edgin. Forger orders their execution, but Holga's savage fighting skills save them and facilitate their escape from the castle without Kira and the tablet. After narrowly escaping, Edgin and Holga decide to confront Forger once again during the Sunrise Game, an illicit event revived by Forger to promote the city's economy and tourism. Meanwhile, Forger continues to manipulate Kira by claiming he gave the tablet to Edgin, who left without his daughter. After their escape, Edgin and Holga decide to form a team and seek revenge against Forger. They reconnect with their old acquaintance, Simon, who now performs in a magic show where he secretly steals from his audience. Spotting Edgin and Holga, Simon's trick fails, and the crowd turns against him. As chaos ensues, Simon attempts to flee using his magic tricks but is saved by Edgin and Holga at the end, who bring him along. Simon reveals that Sci-fi had tried to kill him prior to their capture, leading him to rely on petty tricks to survive. Upon learning of Edgin and Holga's plan to confront Forger, Simon suggests recruiting Doric, a half-elf and half-human, from a community suffering under Forger's oppression. Considering Simon's suggestion, the group visits Doric but remains unwelcome in the forest. However, she eventually agrees to join their mission for the sake of her people. To infiltrate the castle and rob the vault, Doric transforms into a bee and discovers that the vault is protected by the formidable arcane seal of Mordenkainen. While spying in the castle, Doric is spotted and pursued by Sci-fi but manages to escape by shape-shifting into various forms, ultimately transforming into a deer to flee. Unfortunately, the inexperienced sorcerer, Simon, is unable to remove the arcane seal of Mordenkainen, believing that only the Helm of Disjunction can accomplish the task. Even if Simon believes he cannot use the helm because of lacking strong sorcerer skills, Edgin pushes him to believe in himself. Left with no other option, the group embarks on a journey to find the Helm of Disjunction, last known to be with Holga's tribe, who perished in a war centuries ago. With Simon's ability to ask 5 questions to corpses, the gang proceeds toward Holga's tribe. Along the way, Holga decides to visit her ex-husband, Marlamin, to retrieve some belongings, and she becomes emotional after seeing the love of her life for whom she once left her tribe, but he left afterward. Edgin cheers her up by playing the violin, causing her to depart on the journey again with a new will. After traveling several miles, they reach the graveyard and utilize Simon's ability to ask questions to corpses. Several inquiries lead them to the end from Zastam, Zank Yendar. Zank fled from his country after Red Wizard cunningly gathered the country people and turned them into an undead army. Only Zank survived and was left with no option but to run away. Now, living elsewhere, he is approached by Edgin and his group and is asked about the Helm of Disjunction in order to beat Forge and his evil deeds. Initially reluctant, Zank agrees to help after Edgin takes an oath to distribute the looted treasures from Forger among the people of Neverwinter. Zank leads the group to the Underdark, where he has hidden the Helm of Disjunction far from evil's reach. Inside a lava-filled dungeon, they encounter a bridge protected by ancient magic. Simon accidentally breaks the bridge but discovers that Holga's walking stick is a teleportation relic. They use it to safely cross the bridge where Zank presents them with the Helm of Disjunction he safely hid long ago. However, before leaving the dungeon, they are attacked by Red Wizard disciples sent by Sci-fi, forcing Zank to fight relentlessly. Unable to defeat the undead, the group escapes as Themberchod, a dungeon dragon, emerges. With the help of the magic relic, Simon teleports them to safety, evading further losses. After some struggle, they successfully escape the dungeon unscathed. After their daring escape, Simon attempts to don the Helm of Disjunction and encounters an illusion of his great-grandfather. Disappointingly, his ancestor rejects Simon's worthiness, repeatedly thwarting his efforts. Frustrated after numerous attempts, Simon directs his blame towards Edgin, only to have Edgin reveal the truth behind his wife's tragic demise, an event that fuels his unwavering determination. Simon's past misdeeds come to light as he confesses to stealing marked treasure while seeking luxury for his family, unknowingly attracting vengeful wizards who ultimately caused his wife's death. Encouraged by Edgin's words, the group rallies together and devises a plan to infiltrate the castle at dawn on game day. Their initial scheme of using a teleportation passage within a painting fails when the artwork accidentally falls, disrupting their intentions. Undeterred, they opt for a front gate approach, employing illusions to deceive the guards, albeit briefly, before their true identities are discovered, sending them sprinting into the castle. Drawing closer to the vault, Simon again dons the Helm of Disjunction, encountering ancestral disapproval once more. Fueled by anger, he strikes his great-grandfather, shattering the illusion and rendering himself eligible to utilize the helm's power. With determination, Simon successfully breaks the spell guarding the vault, only to discover a trap awaiting him instead of the coveted treasure. Meanwhile, Doric witnesses the treasure being loaded onto a ship, but before she can alert her comrades, castle soldiers incapacitate her with a swift blow. In a different location, Edgin finds himself ensnared by Sci-fi's cunning disguise as Kira. However, before Forge and her sinister intentions can lead to the massacre of Edgin's team, he cleverly proposes a daring alternative. Edgin suggests they be placed in the treacherous Sunrise game, where survival seems nearly impossible, allowing them to face their fate with dignity. Surprisingly, Sci-fi agrees, and Forge puts them in the game, only to see their ultimate demise. Unbeknownst to Sci-Fi, Forge's true desire lies not in ruling the city but in escaping with its abundant riches, leaving her in control. Here, the dark truth of Red Wizard's reveal. Sci-Fi had orchestrated the reopening of the Sunrise game, intending to gather a large crowd to cast a nefarious Red Wizard spell, transforming the city into an undead army. In the meantime, Edgin and his group barely managed to survive in the treacherous game because of Doric's cunning plan. While rushing towards a ship in their desperate escape, the group unexpectedly encounters Forge and Kira. Edgin and his companions refuse to return Forge's ship, leading him to reveal his true identity by threatening Edgin and Holga with a knife against Kira's neck. To his dismay, Forge is overpowered, and the group escapes with Kira and the stolen riches where. As the group is on escape, they witness Sci-Fi's chanting of the ominous Red Wizard spell and realize that they must protect the city. Harper Edgin, driven by his sense of duty to the city, sets aside his own greed and decides to return and save it. Utilizing Forge's air balloon, he distributes the stolen riches throughout the city, enticing the people away from Sci-Fi's influence and her impending spell. Enraged by this defiance, Sci-Fi attempts to attack the group but is intercepted by Simon, now a master of sorcery. Simon gives her a formidable challenge in battle. Just as Sci-Fi believes her victory is assured and casts the time stop spell, Simon reveals a hidden ability. He manages to break free from her time stop loop, enabling Kira to place a magical bracelet on Sci-Fi's hand, halting her sorcery. In the gripping climax, Sci-Fi meets her downfall, defeated by Doric, who transforms into a formidable owlbear to ensure her demise. Tragically, this intense battle results in Holga sustaining severe injuries and ultimate death, leaving the entire group heartbroken. However, amidst the sorrow, Edgin realizes the profound significance of Holga's presence in their lives. In a poignant decision, Edgin chooses to employ the Tablet of Reawakening on Holga instead of using it to bring Zia back. Through the tablet's power, Holga is miraculously revived, transforming the group's tears of sadness into tears of joy. Later, Simon finds the courage to express his feelings for Doric, leading to a newfound connection between them. With their bonds strengthened, the group embarks on a journey of lasting happiness. Meanwhile, Forge, now captured by Zenk, is sent to the Arctic prison of Revel's End. Despite his pleas for forgiveness and seeking pardon from the council, his apologies remain unapproved. Desperate to escape his grim fate, Forge attempts to replicate Edgin and Holga's tactic of fleeing but fails, remaining confined in prison and serving his sentence for his crimes.